Hello friends, nice to meet you all. Friends, love yourself and definitely the world will love you. Friends, from today, before start my every educational video, I will give one quote regarding the beautiful life. Friends, in today's video, we are going to study or discuss the world famous beautiful story Kabuliwala, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Friends, in my one video, I have given the detailed contribution of Rabindranath Tagore to literature. But it's my privilege again to give few words about Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. In very early age, as the member of well-educated family, Rabindranath Tagore was lucky to read William Shakespeare and his literary contribution. It influenced Rabindranath Tagore very deep, and in that sense, we found how Rabindranath Tagore has started writing stories from his 8 to 9-year-old boy. This is the legacy of Rabindranath Tagore. As far as Tagore's contribution to education and literature is concerned, we found he really inducted the man of Bharat Ratna in the sphere of literature. Friends, as a Nobel laureate in literature of 1913, Tagore well versed in different types of literary genres. He was great playwright, poet, singer, painter, educationist, thinker, and whatnot. Friends, he was such a great personality who worked with the father of nation Mahatma Gandhi, and he also delivered lectures and met with the most notable names of literature in English. For example, not only in English but science, politics, art. There is one important photograph of Rabindranath Tagore with Albert Einstein. So, Tagore was friend of Albert Einstein. There was friendship between W. Yeats and Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore also met Mussolini, also met Thomas Mann, also met great novelist Robert Frost, and another playwright of English literature, George Bernard Shaw. In this regard, Tagore has created Vishwa Bharati University. Later on, it became Shanti Niketan. Friends, such a well-versed, versatile, and blessed poet has contributed a lot to literature. I have told about him. Friends, in today's story, we are going to discuss about Rabindranath Tagore's Kabuliwala. Friends, as far as the story is concerned, we found there are many things came before us from this story. The story begins with the 5-year-old daughter Meenie. Meenie is 5-year-old daughter of the narrator, and she was such a naughty, not live quiet for a moment. And in this regard, we found that she is always disturbing the narrator who is going to finish his adventurous love story. And the narrator was working on the 17th chapter of the adventurous love story. In that situation, Meenie, his lovely daughter, disturbing the narrator always and asking many questions. Children are always naughty and asking very interesting questions. And there is one very interesting question came before us, who asked to her father. The little naughty Mini asked to narrator, "Father, what relation is mother to you?" And finally narrator was also shocked, and just he changed his expressions and enforced the small naughty Mini, "Go and play with Bhola. Mini, I am busy." It means sometimes every parent or every father has this problem, that how to face and how to answer the children. So it happens with the narrator also. And I have already mentioned you, there was from the window, Mini left her play and ran to the window and cried, "Hey Kabuliwala, hey Kabuliwala," just crying from the window. And she noticed the appearance of Kabuliwala there outside of the window, and suddenly it has changed the mind of the narrator, and immediately small naughty 5-year-old Mini enforcing his father, "Oh father, come with me. I want to go with, I want to see, I want to meet Kabuliwala." At that time there was old belief, there was a blind belief about such vendors who are and everybody has told what is there in his bag. Somebody has told that the bag is carried with 2 or 3 other children like herself. So there is a fear in Mini's mind about Kabuliwala's bag. But Abdul Rahman, name of the Kabuliwala is Abdul Rahman. In every winter, Abdul Rahman came there, and he wanders in the Calcutta city and sending almonds and different things among the children. And it happens the Kabuliwala offers nuts, raisins, and tempted the children towards himself. So it was the situation, but initially there was fear in her mind about meeting to Kabuliwala Abdul Rahman, but after 1 or 2 visits they become very good friends. And what narrator has seen, narrator was shocked that when he has seen that both Mini and Kabuliwala laughing, talking, and discussing with each other. And now the narrator become tension free. He feel that now Mini will become very cool and calm for a few minutes. Kabuliwala sharing nuts and raisins to Mini, and they become very good friends. And at the same time, Mini's mother was frightened about Kabuliwala. She enforcing Mini that don't go to Kabuliwala because these such men are very dangerous. So there is a threat about these type of vendors among the people. Then there were the routine friendship started between Kabuliwala and Mini. On every day Kabuliwala came there, Mini and Kabuliwala discuss, and many times they sharing very important moments with each other. And then Kabuliwala also just teasing to Mini. And on one day he teasing, "Oh child, well little one, when are you going to your father-in-law's house?" At that time Mini shocked, because Mini didn't know what is mean by father-in-law's house, but must have been trifle and bewildered, and with ready tact replied. Mini replied to Kabuliwala, "Are you go there? Are you going there?" Generally there were certain convictions about father-in-law's house. It has a double meaning. One is you euphemism for jail, and second, where is expenses to ourselves. And when invisible policeman shaking his first hand, invisible policeman, I will crash my father-in-law. Hearing this and picturing the poor discomfited relative, and many laughter and formidable find with joy the discussion with Kabuliwala. It was very interesting situation between Kabuliwala and Mini. The autumn morning goes, everywhere everybody was busy in his or her work, and Kolkata at the very name another country, narrator was observing in autumn morning that how mountains and how dreaming land was there. All these things narrator was dreaming about his writing. At the same time, narrator's wife, Mini's mother, enforcing narrator, be aware of that man. Mini's mother, unfortunately, she was very timid about the Kabuliwala, and she told him that be aware about this man, because she was full of doubts about the Kabuliwala, and used to beg me to keep watchful eye on him. She enforcing her husband, Mini's mother, enforcing Mini's father that keep watch on Kabuliwala, because if he on any day he will take away our beautiful, our very naughty Mini. But narrator was very he realized about the Kabuliwala, and he refuses, not possible of such things. Now what happened with Rahman? Once a year, in every January, Rahman came there as a Kabuliwala, and again he used to return to his own country, and at the time of approach he would be very busy going from house to house collecting his debts. Now he distributing his goods among the people, and in the end of January he collecting his debts. It was his every year's schedule. Now everybody was very busy about his or her work, and here at the same time Mini smiling at Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala, and on they again discussing and playing with each other. But few days passed, and there was very sad moment happen in the short story. There was proof of sheets in my study. Narrator was preparing some proofs, and through the window there was the narrator heard the uproar in the street, and looking out saw Rahman being led away bound between two policemen, and behind them crowd of inquisitive boys. What happened with Rahman? Why he was handcuffed by the police? It was a question raised in mind of narrator, and suddenly the policeman carried him, and suddenly the narrator hurriedly went there. But everybody was enforcing, everybody was very angry, who has taken a Rampuri shawl and denied. Everybody was quarreling with Rahman. What happened with Rahman? But when Kabuliwala's handcuffed at that time, little Mini was watching from the window, and suddenly, oh Kabuliwala, in this situation, Rahman's face was ashamed. But at that time, naughty Mini asked him a question, are you going to your father-in-law's house? Mini asked. At that time, Rahman laughed and said, that's just where I am going, little one. And at the scene is over, and the seeing that reply did not amused the child, and on the charge of murderous assault, Rahman was sentenced to several years imprisonment. Friends, this is the half part of the story, where we found the affectionate relationship between Mini, his father, as well as the relationship, very affectionate or friendly relationship of Mini with Kabuliwala. But time passed, and he was forgotten, because he sent to sentence for few years. He was forgotten. and naturally everybody was busy in his or her work. And after that, even Mini also forgot her old friend Kabuliwala, and because children always forgetting their friends, and again they ready to make the new friends. It happened with Mini also. But years has passed away, and it was once more attempt, and he had made arrangements for our Mini's marriage. Now time cannot wait for anyone, time cannot stops. And Mini became older of 18-year-old, and as a father, narrator has started the marriage ceremony arrangements in house. Atmosphere was changed. Everywhere in the house, various colored flowers were flowering the house. Various colorful garlands were just creating the house beautiful by the various colorful garlands in that situation. Also, Mini, and from early morning, he had everybody was busy in the ceremony of marriage. In the country there was the slung in bamboo poles, there were chandeliers with their tinkling sounds to be hung in the room and veranda. Everywhere the beautiful sounds for marriage were started and busy in that situation. At first, in that situation, when writer was sitting in his study room, and he accounted that somebody came there who just want to introduce himself. Somebody came there. Writer did not accounted the person, and he did not recognize him. He found that he carried a bag. He carried a very long hair, and he was old vigor seemed, not identified by the narrator, and at that same time he has given his introduction. Sir, I am Rahman Kabuliwala. At that time, narrator shocked. Oh, you are Kabuliwala, Rahman. When did you come, Rahman? I asked. Last evening. He said, I was released from jail. It means, friends, the Rahman Kabuliwala was released from jail on last evening, and suddenly he came, or next morning he came to meet his dear friend Mini. It was the friendship between Kabuliwala and young daughter. Friends, this situation has struck narrator's mind. The word struck harshly the ears of the narrator, and he had seen that how before few years what has happened with that, and he felt that why you appeared here. At that time, oh Kabuliwala, Rahman, the ceremony is going on, so you go, don't stay here. I am busy. Perhaps you could come another day. No, he immediately turned to go. Why? Because he was ashamed, he was unhappy by such comments of the narrator, and he changed his mind to go back. At that time, again narrator hesitated and said, may I not see the little one? Sir, for a moment. He has made his mind to left the house, but finally he want to see the little one. And he asked, may I not see the little one, sir, for a moment? Now friends, this was the innocent mind of Kabuliwala, because many years have passed, and yet the Rahman thinks that yet Mini is the child. So in that situation, he feel that Mini will run to him, say, oh Kabuliwala, where are raisins? Please give me almonds, give me nuts. But it was again narrator said that there is a ceremony in the house and he will not be able to see anyone today. Narrator said, not possible to see anyone today. In that situation, the man's face was pale. He looked wistfully at me the narrator and said, "Goodbye, sir." I felt a little sorry. He felt very sorry, and he again called him back and returning to his own accord. When narrator called him back, suddenly he has bought few things from his pocket, nuts, almonds, raisins, to give Meenie. Now friends, you can just imagine the attachment between Kabuliwala and young or the child Meenie. "Sir, will you give these to her?" I took them, narrator took them and pay him. You want to pay something? "You are very kind, sir. Keep me in your memory. Do not offer me money." Kabuliwala, not taking money from the narrator, "You have a little girl like her in my own home. I think of her and bring this fruit to your child, not to make profit for myself." Friends, it was the attachment between Kabuliwala and the daughter. Put hands inside. At the same time, Kabuliwala put his hands in his big loose robe and brought out a small and dirty piece of paper, unfolding with a great care. He smoothed it out with both hands on my table, and impression of little hand, not a photograph, a drawing, merely the impression of an ink smeared hand laid flat on the paper. Friends, this touch of hands, not photograph, just ink smeared hands on paper of his Kabuliwala's little daughter was the existence of his beautiful daughter. Friends, Kabuliwala, why Kabuliwala loving Meenie? Because he every moment remembering his beautiful daughter. When narrator has seen all those things, suddenly tears came out from his eyes, and he forgot all those things. And what he can do now, because he was also father. That impression of the hand of little daughter has made the change, and Tagore also remembering the narrator also remembering his childhood Meenie. And at the same time, the narrator has sent message, and suddenly on the wedding day, when the clad came in the silk sari, sandal paste on her forehead, adorned as young bride, Meenie came and stood modestly before me. When Kabuliwala has seen the bridegroom, the bride in that beautiful cloth, he was really happy. And again, in that situation, he asked one question: "Are you going to your father-in-law's house?" She could not answer as of the child, and suddenly she stood before him and bowed down before Kabuliwala. And here Rahman sighed deeply. When she had gone, suddenly Meenie passed from the place, and Rahman sighed deeply on the floor, crying, because he think that his daughter was also grown up. He had been so long in Kabul. What was happened with her? Really, there was marriage with her or not? All those things happened in the mind, and assuredly she was when he left her. In that situation, in narrator's house, the marriage pipes were sounded, mild autumn sunlight streamed around us, but Rahman, standing in our narrow Calcutta lane, saw his mind's eye mountain of Afghanistan. Finally, narrator was very sympathized, very kind to Kabuliwala, and he took few 100 rupees note and gave it to him and said, "Go back to your daughter Rahman in your own country, and may the happiness of your meeting bring good fortune to my child." Having made this present, he has given some festivities, and it was very interesting thing that wedding feast, he has taken wedding feast, and suddenly the Kabuliwala left the place to meet his beautiful child. Friends, here the story ends. The story is taken from Hungry Stones and other stories. Friends, after reading these stories, we feel there are many themes before us. The story is world famous one, which is translated in world languages. Like Gitanjali, Rabindranath Tagore's Kabuliwala is very famous. It is translated in all the languages, and how there are certain themes came before us, connection between daughter and father. Every father, if anybody want to learn the real affection, motherly affection, then he or she has the affection of a daughter. It was the connection of Kabuliwala. It was the connection of narrator with his daughter, and which is the very most powerful element came before us, that which Tagore portrayed, who transcends the social class, time, age and culture. Now, no class, no culture, no time, no age is limited for the relationship between father and daughter. This is the universal, this is the we can say universal attachment, connection between father and daughter. This is the one important theme came before us. Apart from that, love, specifically father's love, is one of the central thread of Kabuliwala, where narrator has 5-year-old, and through the 5-year-old he has given many interesting moments to the story from this character Mini, and narrator touched by liking the fruit seller named Rahmat, and takes Mini to everybody to realize the existence of Mini child. And there was also curiosity among every mind, that one of the characteristics of the narrator, that what happened with Kabuliwala, whether he reached to Kabul or not, whether his daughter is safe there or not. All these kind of ideas came before us. Friends, such a great storyteller, such a great musician, painter, educationist, Tagore has given a beautiful shape to the relationship of a daughter and father. In this way, the story really very heart-rending, very emotional one. Everybody should read the story. Friends, I will share myself different videos about literature and many things. Try to visit my channel. If you feel very good, then comment it, like it. If you feel very good, then subscribe, as well as share my videos among your friends. We come together and learn all these beautiful literary creations of the world. I stop myself again. Thank you very much. Thank you, friends.